top with pretty Lavinia and unwed Henry, who brings about Hurricane Katrina and the price of progress. We will that Appalachian crab by the river's edge. There's a storm coming, but it ain't that Carolina drama. That's Alabama bound. It's murder ballads that's coming to town.
Hero Country Diggers, welcome to my speakeasy. Today we're going to be talking about a song called John Riley by Grotto. Some people get drunk on Demon Rum and some get drunk on Glory, so stay tuned. Okay, I don't think I can sing this song to make it rhyme or anything, so I'm going to read the lyrics. This is John Riley and the lyrics are by Grotto. John Riley came from Galway town in the years of the Irish hunger. He sailed away to America when the country was much younger. Now the place was strange and work was scarce, and all he knew was farming. So he followed all the other men to a job in the U.S. Army. Adventure calls and some men run, and this is their sad story. Some get drunk on Demon Rum, some get drunk on Glory. Now they marched down Texas way to the banks of the Rio Grande. They built a fort on the banks above to taunt old Santa Anna. They were treated bad and paid worse, and then the fighting started. And the more they fought, the less they thought of the damned old U.S. Army. Adventure calls and some men run, and this is their sad story. Some get drunk on Demon Rum, some get drunk on Glory. When the church bells rang on Sunday morn, they set his soul a shiver. Saw the senoritas wash their hair on the far side of the river. John Riley and 200 more Irish mercenaries, they cast their lot, right or not, south of the Rio Grande. Now they fought brave under the flag of the San Patricios, till the Yankees soldiers beat them down at the Battle of Churubusco. And 15 men were whipped like mules. On the cheeks they were hot iron branded. More made to dig the graves of 50 more, who a hanging fate had handed. Adventure calls and some men run, and this is their sad story. Some get drunk on Demon Rum, some get drunk on Glory. John Riley stands and drinks alone in the bar in Veracruz, and he wonders if it matters much if you win or if you lose. But I'm a man who can't go home, I'm a vagabond, says he. I'm a victim of his wanderlust and divided loyalty. Adventure calls and some men run, and this is their sad story. Some get drunk on Demon Rum, some get drunk on Glory. Adventure calls, some men run, and this is their sad story. Some get drunk on Demon Rum, some get drunk on Demon Rum, some get drunk on Demon Rum, and some get drunk on Glory. All right, that was Grotto, John Riley. Now on to the story. That was Grotto, the lyrics to John Riley. And you can find that on their album, The Rough Guide to Celtic Women, or their other album, Natural Angle, from 2010. Now, there's two John Riley songs, two John Riley songs, and they could be connected or not. We'll find out. I'll be reading from medium.com, and the article is by Musette. All right. Songs: John Riley the Shepherd, Brushy Fork of John's Creek. There we go. Artist, the Paul McKenna Band, Adam Hurt. Today's musical journey takes us from the windswept hills of Scotland to the raging heat of Texas, and finally winds up as a lone banjo strum buried by the ancient Appalachians. All this in search of one man, a mythical John Riley, whom these hauntingly beautiful folk songs reference. But was there such a person? And did he lend his name to the music? We'll start with the basic facts. Folk purists may already be screaming that Paul McKenna's version is a Tom O'Brien cover from the late 1990s. While O'Brien is a master balladeer, you can't beat one of Scotland's best singer-songwriters backed by a full Gaelic band. Tom O'Brien based his mournful elegy on a real historical figure. A certain John Patrick Riley, Irish soldier and immigrant to America, circa 1817 to 1850, who famously defected to the other side during the Mexican-American War, leading a brigade of several hundred called the Patricios in recognition of their Irish heritage. Riley performed admirably in a number of skirmishes before the Yankees beat them down at the Battle of Churubusco. 72 men in Riley's band were tried for treason and either hanged like common criminals or branded with a D on their cheeks for deserter. Riley escaped death but did receive the brand, supposedly growing his red hair long enough to conceal the scar on his face. At his trial, he testified that he had switched sides based on mistreatment of Irish Catholics by the United States Army. So what eventually happened to Riley? He left the Mexican Army in 1850 due to a bout of yellow fever and walks out of the pages of history. Author Robert Ryle Miller, in his book Shamrock and Sword, 1989, unearthed burial records for a Juan Reilly in Veracruz, age 45, from alcoholism. This would be the accepted narrative for the next decade or so. Tim O'Brien, writing in 1999, paints him as a confused and sorrowful man. John Riley stands alone at the bar in Veracruz. He wonders if it matters much if you win or lose. I am a man who can't go home. I'm a vagabond, says he. I'm a victim of some wanderlust and divided loyalty. Here's where things start to get a little murky. Since Ryle Miller's death in 2004, scholars have called his research into question. In 1850, John Riley would have been 33 years old, while the man buried at the Veracruz Chapel is 45. Riley was a notorious teetotaler who frowned on alcohol. The death certificate of the Veracruz man lists drunkenness as cause of passing. Riley's discharge pay was $800, a virtual fortune for the time. But the unknown Juan Reilly was buried as an indigent peasant only 17 days later. It's the current prevailing opinion that this is a case of historical mistaken identity with John Riley, being a common Irish name. What really happened to the leader of the Patricios? Maybe we'll never know. This is where we step out of history and into the realm of myth. There is an old 17th century English folk song, round number 264, called John Riley, or Fair Young Maid All in Her Garden. Based on Homer's Odyssey, it details the story of a woman who cannot marry a prospective suitor since she is betrothed to a faraway seafarer, John Riley. Joan Baez popularized the song in the 1960s, and artists such as Pete Seeger and the Byrds contributed to their own versions their own versions to the canon. Which brings us to the second song in this article. Adam Hurt's John Riley, the Shepherd, Brushy Fork of Johns Creek, from his 2010 CD, Earth Tones. Hurt, a celebrated and well-known figure in the old-time clawhammer tradition, attempts and elegantly masters an entire collection of solo gourd banjo tunes. Let that sink in for a minute. No fiddle, vocals, or accompanying bass. The musicality of this song is absolutely astonishing. I'm not a banjo expert, so says this person. Me too, I'm not a banjo expert. So I'll let Timothy Jones from Banjo Newsletter explain the technical mastery behind this song. Okay, in John Riley the Shepherd, traced in Adam's online liner notes to Art Stamper. Excuse me. Adam uses every trick you can imagine to find his way around the fretless fretboard, from perfect pitch slides to alternate string pull-offs. Okay. John Riley the Shepherd and Brushy Fork of Johns Creek are both covers of old Art Stamper tunes. From his 2000 CD, Goodbye Girls, I'm Going to Boston. Stamper, from 1933 to 2005, was a famed Kentucky fiddler, having played with a number of groups such as the Stanley Brothers. His influence was so tremendous that folk music fans speculate the art in Brother Where Art Thou might actually reference Stamper. So while McKenna's John Riley was a credible historical person, despite mistakenly dying of alcoholism, where does Hurt's John Riley come in? Are they one and the same, or does Hurt reference the much older English folk song that arrived with the flood of colonial-era immigrants into the Appalachian Mountains? It's also possible, given the fact that John Riley is a fairly common name, that Hurt's tune has nothing to do with either versions. Regardless, linked by similar titles, both songs are standouts in their field. All right, hope you enjoyed, and that was a good story. All right, well, see you back soon.